Hey, Chris, how's it going? 1 second, just setting up Nightbot. Alright, so first what we're gonna do is we're just gonna test the most recent build of the game. Actually, you know what? Before I continue, hold on, let's make a list. Hey, owner Hamaros. How are you doing? I'm not too bad. Yeah, we're gonna let's get started with this, huh? Okay, so we're gonna play through the game multiple times, and we're gonna see what where the problems are. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna save. Save. Yes! Success! It's just the first door, but we got to celebrate all the footage from the game. Oh, it's part of a longer sentence. It says, this is a beta version of Manifold Garden for testing purposes. Please do not distribute or share footage from the game publicly. Yo, what are you doing here this early? Oh man, the one at the furniture, the interior design. I am not familiar with Mortez Ghost. And also, owner, I think it's your first time here, in which case, welcome. I mean, it sounded like you were really unhappy at the last gig, so wait, you just quit another job? VR. So you're gonna move to LA? Hey, Cree. You can't fire me, I quit! You can't quit, you're fired. Bless me. Yeah, that sucks when they do that. Having a manager? Well, I have to manage people, which is a different problem. I've got enough problems as it is. So glad this stuff is working. You guys have seen the struggles with the level loading systems, with the saving and loading. How long? Well, you don't build tools before you start the game. You start the game and then you build tools when you need them. So, 0. I started working on the game and then I didn't, the question is when did I start building custom tools, and that I probably could have done a little earlier, but yeah, you're not, you should just start your game. Yeah, because you don't really, the thing is, like, you don't know what tools you're going to use until you've done something, you start making the game and then you're doing something like over and over again. It's like, hey, okay, let's do a tool to automate this, right? So the tool is just, I'm actually just on a rolly chair. You can type in exclamation mark desk. I'm actually standing. Pro Builder. What's that? Hey, Moshi. How's it going? We were just saving and loading. Yeah, like, some people will plan out the tools, but like I said, you really don't know what you need until you're making the game, and you can get really caught up in making tools. You know, you have to kind of keep in mind what you're after. This needs to be more lit. I feel like this and this should be reversed. Whoops. You know, cause this has you walk. Yeah, I think we need to reverse these. No, we'd still need the short lasers. No. I'm talking about... Oh shit, you're right. Well, you know, because the problem is players walk this way, right? But they, when they get up to here, they turn and they end up in the purple. So, but maybe that's okay because they see that and there's the door. So maybe this leads them to the tree, which is kind of what I want them to see. Oh dear. Isn't it too early to get drunk? But welcome, Drunk Devs. Did you change your name to Drunk Devs? I feel like it used to be Drunk Dev. Okay, so that line is not lighting up instantly, which we need to fix. Well, it's usually a lot of people will follow the light. Right, so they'll, but I guess they can see here. So yeah, you know what, but what I want to do right here is just test all this. Well, welcome. So we have two things we want to do on that color and then the light lining up. This is looking pretty good, man. So here's the problem, right? Like here, now watch this, which is if you were drunk, you mean? Yeah, so I want that to be instant. So that's the biggest problem right now, is that that is not instant. So we gotta figure out what to do there. Well, it's really designed. It's fine if you're not under the influence as well. It's actually, I'm not too sure how you play this not with completely focused, because it's there's a lot of thinking. Well, if you watch this line, I'm gonna save the game. And we're gonna load it. You'll see that. You'll see the line. You'll see it light up. Yeah. So that needs to be instant. It is certainly intended to be. If we, well, yeah, it does, because it like, especially here, you'll see that happen. Right, so you shouldn't be seeing that animation on the upon loading, especially if that happens after. So, and we actually fixed a bunch of those issues yesterday, so I know exactly what's causing it. No, it's not just a visual thing. I mean, it is actually a bug. It's the code does tell it to light up instantly, and it's not happening instantly. But we're not just talking about the like, it means it's not, it means the information is not getting passed down correctly, so it's not working correctly. Oh no, that's just it's just a tiny thing. No, we've already fixed it. You can see the doors. You can see the doors light up. Okay, you can see this. You can see this laser. If you watch this, right? I'm gonna save it. You can see this laser is instant. See that laser is already instant. So we fixed that one, but this guy is not, right? That's the problem, is that you shouldn't be. Right? That's like, it makes you think like you just solved that laser again, which, so that actually causes a bunch of problems. The saving loading is looking a lot better now, though. Oh yeah. Looking good. Minor hiccups with the way. Well, I did watch Interstellar. It was a little. I mean, I've been working on the game for a while, but so I did not get the idea from Interstellar. I need to. Do you want to? We do have some hiccups with level loading. It's not super smooth right now, which is a problem. Like it's much better than it was. Yeah, there's definitely like a big hiccup. That's wrong. What's going on there? No, it's not. Chris, that is because I haven't gotten around to replacing all of the doors yet. But yeah, it is used inconsistently. I mean, it's World 011, World 015, that one needs a small door. We're not I mean, it's like, yeah, it's just sort of a big moment, but it's not, it's gonna be a little, you know, it's gonna be a case-by-case basis. The doors are really not that big of a thing. We have other problems that we need to fix first. But yeah, there still needs to be a lot of like major redesign. All right, I'll see you later. Bix plays. Yeah, we are getting very close. So. How long? Too long. Yeah, just over 5 years. It's like 5 years and 4 days. Yeah, we'll do the so the door, I'm not gonna mark the doors because that's a fairly easy, straightforward one. I'm more concerned about like how we introduce mechanics around here, so 011. Let's see here. Dark laser. Alright, so we also gotta fix so the big thing is the level loading. I'm not too sure why. So save load test dark cube container. Immediate state set for arm load, and So the dark code cage, so we just got to copy the logic we have here. All right, first I want to check out the game. Oh, looks like there's this, let's check this out. There's a new game, Blazing, what is this, Blazing Legion? YouTube is not kind to the YouTube. The Twitter video compression is terrible. Oof, it actually kind of hurts to look at. It is, but do they have I hope he's got a YouTube video, because the compression on Twitter video is awful. Okay, so I think they have a website. So let's see this trailer. There we go. Let's watch it here. Okay, yeah, this looks much better. Yeah, that Twitter video compression is awful. Oh, this is much better. Yeah. I'm already digging the soundtrack. Alright, so that is Blazing Legion. His low poly art is fantastic. What is Virtuoso New Media? Is this a new... Is this just Ethan? Anyway, looks great. Skyway Interactive. Okay, so let's talk about how do we get this thing to start filling? Oops, whoa. Yeah, there's a lot of great games. There's this guy's game is also I'm quite interested. They're doing something really beautiful. I'm very impressed. That art style. You know, I don't know what the gameplay is, but that art style is tops, man. I gotta get my game out. So Ethan Red, yes, that's it. Go check out Ethan Red. Ethan, he streams too. Let's give Ethan some promo. Ethan Red, what a great name. Let's see. Where the hell is this guy? Now that I think about it, I probably don't have, Anyway, he's on Twitch somewhere. Yeah, I can't find him. Okay, let's look at this though. So, dark mode cage controller. All right, so let me explain a bit about how the like instant stuff works, right? So they're all, the reason why you want to do the instant is because when we load, so you know, when we load a level, everything's in the default state, like what it would be the first time you enter. But that's it, Kid Radical. Thank you, Chris. Go follow Ethan. So. Right, but when you, so the level, you know, when you start, it's like everything is set here. But when we do, what we do is we load that in and then we call onload. So the function is called onload. And then that sets things to be the state. So that moves things around. But when we do onload, it needs to happen. Things don't happen the way it does during gameplay, right? It needs to get the state set immediately. So let's look at laser mirror controller, start filling immediate. So this is open laser mirror. Okay. So aha. I believe the problem is here. Am I making this game by myself? Almost myself. I'd say I did like 95% of it. I'm the only full-time person. I have a few part-time people helping me. But yes. It's just a matter of time. Okay, so where... Okay, anyway, let's go to Studio Logo screen. Yes, I think he did give one. I think he gave one last year. Feel free to post a link if you find it. I was not in attendance. Anyone going to GDC this year? I am not. Next year, I mean. I don't think I'm going to get in unless I'm in the IGF, you know, which I don't think I will be because the build, like you guys just saw, it's only the latest build has saving actually working, so I don't think I'm gonna, I don't think I will be going. I actually should. Well, it's kind of too late for me. We're not changing Manifold Garden style at this point. Okay. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out. Oh, I have. I was wondering why my window is so small, and it's because I have two inspectors open, which is very useful. Does kind of get in the way. What I have. You know what? I bet, you know, I showed you guys that Shedworks game. I bet they get comparison to Zenith all the time. Arcane kids. It's gonna be like their antechamber. People will see it and they'll be like, "Oh man, it looks like Zenith." And they'll be like, "Oh, stop!" Okay, I'm not. I think this stuff is. Oh, you know what? I need to make it so it's not affected by shadows. Hold on. Yeah, I have, you're talking about the laser lines, right? Yeah, I'm kind of thinking some of the later levels, it'll be really interesting, especially as you get more of these mirrors. But, so you can see we have the immediate stuff working. It's just... Yeah, a lot of this code was written back when I wasn't a very good programmer, so... Oh, so tonight we're gonna have to wrap up this stream. Well, we got like 3 more hours, but I won't be able to go past 5 o'clock because I'm going to this talk with this architect, Helmut Jan. So I'm actually not a huge fan of this building. I like the inside. I just... The colors are kind of lame, but that's like that's not City Hall, but it's just a government building. So if you like want to go to the DMV, you know, to get your driver's license or whatever, this is the building to go to. And so he is giving a talk. I'm thinking of joining the Chicago Architecture Foundation. Ah, yeah, so that's the interior, which is very cool. So, and I think he did the, oh yeah, he did the helmet, he did the U Chicago. He did this. This library. Okay, so let's try to figure out why. Yeah, so this start filling immediate, right? So this open immediate, so chainable dark key controller. Aha. So let's open up line display. Chicago Architecture Foundation. It's just this nonprofit. They organize architecture events, and they do these tours, and you can get like discounts on them if you're a member. Just architecture.org. Yeah, so see, they do a bunch of this stuff, and I think members have. Yeah, see, if you're a member, it's free. So it's $70 a year, and these are they're $20. I'm kind of thinking like, hey, you know, this is I could learn a lot of stuff. Tours of building stuff, yeah. This is like a tour of the train, which is elevated, goes through kind of the second, third stories. But they also have talks, like the talk I'm going to tonight. It was $15 for non-members, $5 for members. You also get the boat tour. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff. I've been thinking about volunteering as a tour guide, but I don't really have the time. Okay. Anyway, back to work. Aha! Yes. This is what you need to do. You know what? I think this weekend we're gonna have to take let's take Saturday and refactor. So if you guys are interested in learning how all this chainable code works, come back on Saturday. We're gonna refactor and clean up because I've been making a lot of these changes, and it'd be good to kind of sit down and clean it all up before it gets too messy and starts causing problems everywhere. That's sort of one thing I've learned to do, which you have to Ludum Dare. Well, for those of you not participating in Ludum Dare, they picked the theme yet? Actually, you know what? It's been an hour. Let me take a quick break. We'll be back in 5 minutes. 5 minutos. Well, I tried to run an ad. I don't know if it worked. In the dashboard, there's a place where you can press it. Okay. here's a game from some. Let me see. Okay, first let's get this working. But there's a game. Cosmos Quick Start. I'll show you guys this in a bit. Hey, Port Punky, welcome. Yes, look at that. It's right. Look at that. Look at that. It is immediate. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Let's first let's go to boards. So let's load this again. How's it going? Sound design. Yes. We are. I'm trying to get the sound guy on sound person hooked up into the project so that they're using, they're on the Perforce server and can like make changes, because they've just been sending me videos, but that's a little bit I would like to like, there's only so much you can get from a video. Yes. So it is instantly lit now. All right, let us push these changes. And we will say immediate state sepher on load is good. Now we just need to check the laser receiver color. Then we're going to do the dark cube container. Church door opposite side. Yeah, I mean, it's not somehow we use Fmod, so I have to hook up, I have to put in the hooks, but then they can yeah, otherwise it's like I do that with the art, and it's really annoying because there's a limit on the Perforce how many people you can have on the project. But if they're doing art, then they're always like sending you files and you put it in and then you check it in, and it's a lot easier if they have access to it and they can just like change things and play with it and open up the level and like walk around, right? Otherwise it's like I have to make a build and send it to them. So what's it, teach a man to fish? Yeah. What should we listen to now? What should we listen to? How about, what's like a really relaxing game? Oh, what about Space Chem? Alright, let's push these changes. Yes. You got really far. I was actually... I mean, I think everybody's time is like... So most people are playing the game for about 40 minutes to an hour. And the problem is that's where the game starts falling apart. Oh shit, that's no good. From the gravity changing, we'll put in a few. I'll put in a few things to help with that. To give some default save files for the hub, for example. Got a menu for jumping. Yeah. Rory, we should talk about how, well, it's okay. Several things. Rory, we should talk about what I can do to make it better for motion's sake. If it was just the gravity changing, I do have a few ideas. Like one is making the game move instantly. I actually need to sit down and fix a whole bunch of things. Oh man, where am I? What am I doing? Okay. I can give testers some default save files. I can just give them files that I've been using. Yeah, I think it might be the frame rate. Yeah, if it is just from the gravity changing, I don't have solutions implemented, but Okay, then it sounds like it's probably a combination of the FOV and the frame rate, which are better problems. I mean, still not ideal, but yeah, okay. So that is something that I will we will address. Yeah, and I do think it does. I do think it needs smoothing. Purgovisk, thank you for the host. I don't get the hosting notifications in my chat anymore, which is very annoying. Okay, Rory Bell, thank you. Hit me up on. We'll chat on Discord. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna take. Let me take a quick. No. You know what? Let's finish this and then I'll take the break. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking like maybe I wanna like the iLight fill still involves a lot of custom code. I know there's a lot of copying, pasting the same stuff over, and I'm kind of thinking maybe there's something else I can do, but no, I think I will stick with this one for now. Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, well, if I'm reusing so much of the same code, maybe better just to redo the architecture, but then it's also only like this one thing left, so I think for now I will just keep it. You know what? You know what? We're not gonna do that today. We're gonna do whatever we're doing now, and we'll just kind of clean it up on Saturday when we refactor. Otherwise, it's otherwise I'm never gonna get around to level design. Actually, failed immediate. This, of course, needs a mesh group. Green. There we go. Okay, so let's hit play and see what. Now, where do we set up? You know what? We really should be doing this in. Ooh. Ooh, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, this is being done in the wrong place. You know what? Hold on 1 second. Yeah, this is so this stuff should be getting set here, which is why we've got a problem. But I wanna that could kind of break a whole bunch of things. So let me fix it up first. You know, because ideally you'd be setting the gravity direction based on your previous guy, but the thing is I don't always know what my previous guy is until we're both doing this. Oh. Alright, let's get this working first, and then that's another thing you kind of learn to. I've sort of learned to like break up my coding so that I can kind of push these discrete changes instead of you know, so if I mess up something too badly, I can kind of go back to a stage where things worked. I don't even know how to properly describe that. It's kind of weird. What the fuck? Ah, right. Yeah, you know, Chris, the thing for the menu is that it's really hard to do that with the you know, it's not impossible, right? Nothing in programming is impossible. But it's really tricky to. It would just take a lot of work to kind of get that set up because of the way we're doing our level loading system. It's like all these exceptions. So, but I do think, yeah, it is a good idea. There's always a million things that are good to implement. to one day work on only one aspect of a game. Sweet. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why it keeps not lighting all the way up. But I will leave that to Arthur to fix. I mean, it's like a minor visual bug. So let me push these changes. So we got that working. Then what I'm going to do is the previous and next. They really should not be set there. My only concern is there's a million things that are doing this, so we'd have to go to each one. But this chainable really... We should not be setting these guys here. They should be getting set here. Right, because that's where we're caching references and doing the delegates. That's like, look at this. We're caching references and setting delegates. And it's like, that's what this is for right here. Yeah, well, it gets harder to do that. I think like, I might do one where we have, I think like you said, just kind of major hubs. Well, the problem right now is I can't even have you, like, you know, I have some experimental puzzles, right? And I want to put them in, like, they're not shoved into they're not placed in the main game yet. I have no way to do that at the moment. Like, there has to be an actual portal that you walk through, and that, remember, like, that was what caused the last time I had all these sort of like business perspective stuff, and they wanted to check out the build, and there was a bug. Literally, when you walk through the first door, you got sent to this weird random experimental area, and they were like, "This is your game's pacing is very weird." And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? And that's because of that portal, right? So it's so it would be good to have something where I can make you jump. One door bag is not good at all. I have no idea what a door bag is. Feel good 12. Ja nie. Ja wam nie понимаю. Okay. What should we listen to now? What's a good game? What's a good game soundtrack? Hey, Zent. Actually, I think this soundtrack is too goofy. Good. Oh, I know. Oh, and before I continue, this is the game I want to show you guys. This is another Chicago developer. I don't actually know who's in them. I just know that they're from Chicago. I don't think I've ever met them. But
welcome to the fast-paced world of interstellar gas station management. As the new owner and operator of Cosmos Quickstop, your skills in customer service and multitasking will be your keys to success. Here's your first customer now.
this has a really old school feel. Yo, I think they need to calm down with their camera movements, man. I think the low frame rate and the swings are kind of making me a little motion sick. So if you don't... Okay, yeah. Virtual will get called if nothing is it's like virtual is like a default, right? Alright guys, it has been about 2 hours. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play through this a bit. Then I am going to take a half-hour break. I'm going to get some real food, sit down. Then we'll come back around like 4 and we'll go for about another hour. I have to leave at around 5 to give this, for this talk. Ah, it is it's an architecture talk, Helmet Jan. He's a Chicago architect. Oops. That is correct. Aha. Okay, so it does look like we've got a problem here with the beam. This is what I was worried about. Okay. You know, it's like, why isn't this guy... I can't even fucking see. Huh. Oh, do we not, did I just not save this? Okay. It's, you know, it's hard to fix bugs if you don't save your changes. I think that's what happened. So what's this? People talking about game engines again? What's going on the? Huh? Yes! Oh my god, that was so dumb. Literally, the problem was just that I did not save. I made a change, but I did not save it. So I was like, oh man, this. I was worried it was some kind of. What's going on here? What's everyone talking about, huh? Oh, I mean, I do agree with this. Oh. Oh, looks like it's Klifsky. Why am I not surprised? Cliff Harris loves playing the angry guy in game development. People get so angry at just remember that Unity is not a language in the same way Java or C++ is. It's a privately owned for-profit company. I think he's right. I mean, I think yeah, it's true he pays $0 for his engine every year, but or do you actually pay far more than zero? This is yeah, the thing is, well, I mean, I'm using Unity. The thing is, it's like, I just don't know how you can be competitive in today's indie market, when you're writing, if you have to write your own engine as well, like I'm barely, you know, like just me as a solo dev, I would say for the purpose of this argument, I'm pretty much a solo developer. I've got some people helping me, but they're all part-time. Like I think, you know, average is like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours a week, so really not much. And I mean that's between artists, and like I've had programmers working for much more time, but I think it's but still, you know, I'm switching between like business development and design and programming and managing artists, and I guess it's not that it's so yeah, for a 2D game a custom engine isn't that hard to make, but I just don't know how you can be competitive. Like I'm using Unity and my time is still so stretched, and I don't know how you can really stand out in today's market if you have to, you know, write all these tools and start from zero, you know, like I can't like Cuphead's obviously done very well, but I don't think they could have done it without Unity, right? There's just so much of like it's hard enough as it is using an engine as a solo dev. And I mean, I've been working on Manifold Garden for 5 years. I just, it's like, how do you, if you have to write your own engine, then like, you know, so like some things that can help Manifold Garden kind of break even or succeed financially is ports, right? Bringing it to different consoles, Switch, PlayStation, whatever. Not that Unity makes it, so Unity does make it a lot easier. It's not just like when press a button, right? Like we're having problems with Mac build, and that's actually a huge pain, because it's like some music people I'm talking to only have a Mac, but I don't have a Mac development. I don't have a Mac computer, so I can't really test, and I can't even, you know, I don't even know what the problem is. But, you know, because I'm using Unity, I can find someone that's a Mac developer, and they can kind of handle that. So it does make it a lot easier. I like with, if it was my own engine, I wouldn't even know where to start. And the other thing with Unity, there's a lot of developers that are, yeah, that's what I did. I mean, there's like my friend Greg in Chicago. He's like another game designer, and we have like that game design club where we meet regularly to like play through each other's games and talk about design issues. And he's always asking for a Mac build. So, I mean, I do eventually want to release the game on Mac, but it's just like, yeah, like Unity does make porting to other platforms a lot easier, but it isn't this like one-click solution. So, yeah, and you know, like Arthur, right? He's been a tremendous help, and part of that is he was able to get going really quickly because he understands Unity really well. Imagine if if it was my own custom engine, then he had to like learn what I did, which has probably been crap. Like I'm struggling enough with game. Well, first of all, I'm struggling with like remembering to save my scripts, but like I'm looking at some of the earlier gameplay code that I've written, and I'm having to wrestle with that. Imagine having to wrestle with engine code that you wrote while you were starting out, right? Like it's not unusual for me to, at this point, to be like, oh wait, this whole system actually sucks, and you know we need to kind of redo the architecture. Imagine having to do that on an engine level. That's crazy. Right, and also like the development of this project, like we've had kind of people in and out, and it took me 6 months to kind of take back the code base and redo the architecture for, you know, what's working now. I think if it was on an engine level, that probably would have taken me a year. So, I mean, I think the intention is right. Like, you shouldn't. I do think it's not great when schools just teach Unity development. That feels kind of weird. I do think game development programs should start you off with C++. Like, I think students should be writing their own engines, since they don't necessarily have the same like commercial and production pressures. But I honestly can't imagine small teams in this current indie game market writing their own engine and that being a wise thing to do. Those are my thoughts. That's my hot take. Right, exactly. Like, if you're doing it to just kind of learn how to do things on a low level, I think that's fantastic. I totally think, like, I think students should do it, because then, you know, when I started doing shader stuff, that was a lot easier for me because I'd done, you know, C++ programming before. I hated the low level stuff, so for me, Unity was like, it's just like a glass of cold water and I was in the desert. Well, no, that's more Pro Builder. When I used Pro Builder, it was like someone had given me a glass of cold water when I was in the desert. But you know, it was like a breath of fresh air, right? I was like, oh, you know, I can just kind of focus on the big stuff and not be like, how do I draw a circle on the screen? But it was, that stuff was really useful early on. You know, so like when I started working with shaders, like all my low level experience did help a lot. So I do think that is useful. Yeah, if you just want to make games, don't want to learn about engine architecture, it's not a good idea. Speaking as a recent graduate degree in game development, I say that we were in no way equipped to write an engine. Really? What do you guys, how did that program? Because I know, so the only game development program I'm really familiar with is, what's that one in Seattle? Not Full Sail. Where the Portal, the original, the student team that went on to make Portal was from. What is that game dev school near Seattle? You know, the Distance guys also went to that school. Digipen. Yeah, so I know Digipen makes you write your own engine, which I think is a great experience. But one thing that the students there have told me is you're not seeing as many Digipen games in the IGF student category. And I think it's because like everybody else is using Unity, so they're making games a lot faster, whereas like these guys have to start from scratch. But I do think it's much better experience overall. And Jet User in the chat is actually a Digipen grad, but he's doing like Microsoft Store stuff. But I think that at least those skills transfer well. Yeah, and so, you know, the other thing with Unity is like, I mean, it's the Unity community is pretty strong, but I think the Flash community was also really strong a few years ago, right? And look at what where Flash is now. So yeah, though I don't like this sentiment, I don't think is true, right? Because obviously he spent a very long, like there are definitely a ton of costs. I don't know how much time he spent on the game. But you know, it's not going to be enough to write your own engine. You're going to have to use your own language. You know, I think that might just be the some of the professors just also are not equipped. Like there's the Art Institute of Chicago is you know, they're trying to find someone to teach their game development class, and it's just straight up Unity. But that's also like they're an art school, so these kids aren't there to learn programming. So I think in that case, Unity does make sense. But I would like, so you know, someone like me, I think would be qualified to teach at you know, teach that class. But I wouldn't be able to teach you how to do an engine programming class. So I think it's like harder, and then you also have fewer qualified people who are able to do it. And like I think if you're a really good engine programmer, you're probably working at a big studio as the engine programmer. But Cliff likes to. I've met him very briefly. He's also, I think he's a member of Indie Fund, but I've not. I don't think he knows who I am. I mean, just I think something to keep in mind, right? I don't have a solution. I'm not saying you should definitely use Unity, but you should kind of just try to learn a whole bunch of stuff, man. Hey, Legend, thanks for the host. I could teach you how to make an engine wrong. Thanks. I think I can teach myself that. Well, Cliff is he's a veteran game developer with several games under his belt, but he's gone on the like I hate Unity rant a number of times. He did that at GDC 2 years ago. I was there, went on stage 10 minutes and was just like, I hate Unity. I mean, his point was like it's teaching people bad programming practices or something, but he it's somebody was saying it's like, oh, were we at the time where we're arguing about using another engine or writing your own again? How time flies. You can set your clock by that. It's like, well, it's been a year. Looks like we're talking about engines again. My watch is off. I don't know. There's always something. Too many engines, too many games on the store, too many game developers. I think everybody in the industry just actually hates the industry, which is probably true. Yeah, I think if I were to make another game, I'd want to do it with a team of 3. I would talk to publishers early. And I would do it with a team of 3 people who I'm like know well and familiar with their work and are experienced. We definitely would have a producer, and I think we would most likely use an engine. And keep development under 2 years. That is how. And I would stream development from day 1. Always talk about like, oh, you know, we don't want people to steal your idea. Nah. The biggest problem is nobody ever finding out about your idea. What nested prefabs worked? Flash at nested prefabs? Jesus. They are actually working on that. That's the other thing. I have been told. Yeah, dude, if I make a small mobile game, I'd have to get a Mac. That's what's annoying. Like, you have to... You can't... I just learned this. You can't develop for iOS on a PC. Which is like... I mean, not all that surprising. It is Apple, after all. Right. That I don't... Why would... I don't understand why Apple charges developers money to develop. Like... You know, I don't understand that. Isn't... Like... Which they then make money off of, right? But anyway, I don't... That is, okay, so first things first. I suppose. Yeah, you know, to be fair, it's not that much. It's only 100. This is like... You're already paying through the roof for everything Apple. It's like, hi, my earphones are broken. Yeah, that'll be $40 for new ones. Well, but the I mean, I don't know if the App Store, the state of the App Store has it really filtered out bad games? So we just want the direction of the light field to always be the up direction of the local transform. Yeah, which all the big players are moving away from. Well, actually, that's not true. Apple does the, I guess Apple still does the, still does the editor's choice, right? I wish Steam would do that. I think I said I was gonna take a break, but that's not end up happening. What the hell am I even testing for? Oh, right, the door. This is weird to me that the light fill direction is wrong. Like, why is it setting it to be Z? Oh, shit. Okay. Aha. It's got it. Well, did you just get dropped back in to the exact same position? Hey guys, okay, I do need to actually take a break. No, momentum is not saved. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, it takes like 5 seconds for you to catch up. Alright guys, I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be right back. Yeah, and I'm not gonna bother with saving momentum. Okay, let's... Old Mega Man game. Oh, yeah, I don't think they can do that. Sean Noonan, what's up? Okay, guys, so... Powdery Mirror. How's it going? The light field direction should basically always be Hey, today was a fun stream. I feel like I got a lot done. Going on almost 2 hours now. No, 3 hours. Oh man, I have to take my vitamin D. That. We have like 5 hours of sunlight nowadays. Look, it's like not even 4:30 and it's so dark. Yeah, I have. I mean, just I used to work all the time and not have a life outside of development, and that's been, I've gotten a lot better at that over the years. It's not so much like a one-time thing though. It does it. I think it ends up being it has to be like a big change, you know. Like, I think it's a big lifestyle change. I used to only work on the game, and I had no social life, no romantic life, and I just thought I had to focus completely on the game 100%, and like no hobbies outside. That, I think the first 2-3 years were like that, and I think around like 2015, you know, that's when all this talk about indie apocalypse started coming up. All this talk about like games coming out and failing, and I was like, oh dear, what if I spent all these years working on this game and it failed? And I'm, you know, it's my 20s. You only get to experience your 20s once. So in an attempt to recapture my youth, I downloaded Tinder. and that's not really like the point, right? But it was just like I kept thinking that during the course of making this game, it's like I had to put everything else in my life on hold. But as the game got longer, as development got longer, I kind of found it like, I was like, man, you know, you only live once, and at the end of the day, like, yeah, I'm putting a lot of myself into this game, and I see it as this work of art, and it's a reflection of who I am, and I have all these high goals, but at the end of the day, it's just a piece of entertainment, right? It's just a piece of entertainment that people buy for $20 on Steam, and they play it for, I don't know, maybe 10 hours, and then they move on. Like, it's not worth it to kill yourself over this thing. Like, you have to keep perspective, you know? So yeah, I do, my schedule now is like, you know, I stream development a lot, which is really helpful. It kind of keeps me on a regular schedule. I think I end up doing about 8 hours like every day. So, you know, I stream, like, we've just been streaming for about 3 hours, but, you know, I'm talking and it's programming. But there's also like meetings with artists and like meetings with producer and a lot of like other stuff. I don't really track those hours as much. Like with streaming, it's sort of easy. I'm like, okay, you know what? I streamed for 5 hours today, right? So that's like, that's kind of like 5 hours at a job. So I think I probably end up working about 8 hours a day, every day. And that's including all the other work, and I think that averages out to that. So it's about, so I don't really take weekends, but you know, my schedule is like 3 hours here, then 3 hours, and then another 3 hours. Right, so and I've been going to the gym. I started going to the gym regularly around January 2015, and that's been really great. Hello, Miguel. I've been learning French. I've gotten really good at French in this past year, and I'm also learning been Russian. It's like, I'm like, you know, I'm doing this stuff. Like, I used to be like, I had to put everything on hold. But now I'm actually, it's like, no, you got to live your life. I mean, that's what happened. So, you know, my social life isn't super busy, like, but that's just kind of how I am. I'm not one of these people that's like, I gotta see of people every day, right? And, you know, I think I do, like, just kind of friend stuff that's like once or twice a month. But, yeah, I go to the gym every other day. I cook all my meals and I try to eat well. I study French and Russian every day, and that's like personal development. And I work about, so 8 times 7, what is that? 56. It's about like 60 hours a week. Sounds a lot, but I don't commute, and it is, yeah, maybe it should be 40, but I'm not, you know, I do have, there's like work pressure, right? I'm not just kind of like, you don't want to be, it's not about extremes. You know, I'm not working on the game all the time. Also, like, if you work on the game 100 hours, you cannot be focused. I don't know how you can be that focused. Like, for me, you know, 6 hours coding a day, that's about the max. And then everything else I do, you know, I've just always wanted, like I've been studying French since, like, they make us, I had to take it in school, and it's just like, there's one thing that over the years I kind of, like, I'd always speak, like, I'd meet, you know, I'd be in situations where French would be helpful, and I could do enough at the beginning, but then I'd hit a wall, and it was like, oh man, like, I wish I really spoke it fluently and not just sort of like barely. So I've been started studying. So yeah, I kind of have done that, and I've always been interested in Russian. So French is just like going from the level, like, I guess I would say I'm probably advanced. and then being fluent. So that's so I have like a bunch of French conversation partners that I talk to like 3-4 times a week. We talk on Skype for about an hour. You know, it's partly in English, partly in French. I do meet with a teacher once a week for an hour, and there we go over specific rules. So like laquelle, auquel, like that which with which you use, you know, the pen with which you wrote on the paper, that kind of stuff. And then I listen to like podcasts in French all the time. I got this this really nifty, oh shit, where if I can find it. Oh dear, oh yeah, it's charging. But this is like this little Bluetooth, so you can put it in and then, you know, walk around listening to French. And yeah, so for Russian, you know, I'm still like super basic, but that's been a fun thing. It was just like, yeah, again, it was like stuff that I thought I would do until after the game was done. And, you know, I think like 2 years ago I realized it's just not healthy to only do one thing. Like you can't yeah, what's that quote? Life is what happens when you're busy planning other stuff, you know? I'm like, the first 2 years I was just so focused on trying to get this game out, and wasn't healthy. So yeah, I would say I have cut back, but it's been like an overall, you know, yeah, so I don't do meetup groups because it's like, it's just a really big pain to travel in Chicago. Je sais encore quelque chose de français. So you could go to the site and I just find people like, so, you know, we have different language partners and then we kind of chat with them. You have to be, yeah, like, so the French thing, I listen to the podcast so I wake up, and when I'm getting dressed, when I'm making breakfast, when I'm showering. I probably shouldn't wear this in the shower, but I do. I just like keep my head out of the water. And so that ends up being like an hour of French, you know, just like from the moment you wake up, the shower, breakfast, eating breakfast. And it's not that I'm slow, right? Like there's just, you make your bed, like you brush your teeth, and that kind of get ready for the day. So I'm listening to that. I'm listening to it like in between breaks, and you know, I listen to it at the gym. So it's sort of kind of stacking things up, but yeah, and just not getting too hard on yourself if you don't get everything done. Garants in Russian. I don't know. No, I have not. Is that the which? Let me see if I. No, this I have not. I have not yet. No, I'm still working on noun cases. So. You know, like I've sort of learned all of them, but I need to kind of practice a little more to get comfortable with the. It's like 6 cases, 3 genders, and then you have, and then like singular and plural, and then you've got your adjectives. Like there's just a million things in Russian that you need to know. Yeah, so but I've got to, like, you know, the soft sound and the hard sound, hard consonant. I was like, once I learned that was a lot easier, right? Because otherwise it seems like you have to memorize 2 things for each conjugation. So like, you know, ui, I, ya, and that's a lot. I was like, oh, okay. So you're just really memorizing one, but like for a neuter, to make plural, the O is a hard consonant, so that goes to a, and Y is a soft consonant, so that goes to the equivalent of A, which is ya. So that made it a lot easier because before it seemed like I was memorizing two things, but it's like, oh, it's really just one thing, but you switch between the hard and the soft consonant. But yeah, so I'm focusing on the cases for nouns at the moment, and then I will focus on yeah, so the light is not lighting up all the way. Well, I mean, I don't know about your situation, but like I don't know why the specifics, right? Like I've got other pressures, which is just like I really need to finish this game before I can move on. So I think we're all in our different situations, but this I've found, like I don't think I've had a real burnout. I know some devs have said that they've they burned out to the point where they like just could not work on the game for months. So that hasn't happened to me, and I think part of that is sort of thanks to some of the changes that I kind of made some time ago. Yeah, because you said you worked on the game part-time, because you are, if I remember correctly, you are at a AAA studio, right? Or you were, at least. So that situation is a little bit different than my experience, than what I'm familiar with. Right. So see, that's like that's pretty crazy, right? Because I feel like the the game that like that's a pretty intense schedule already. Did I always exercise? No, it was just sort of like what made it? What made me want to start exercising? I was just always like a really scrawny person. I've gained like 20 pounds in the last 2 years. I mean that's weight I wanted to gain. But I used to be like a really scrawny guy, and I just always kind of thought I was like gonna be forever scrawny, and I wanted to make some changes. So, oh, maybe it's because I joined Tinder. No, you know, I was approaching 30. I made a bunch of big life decisions that people were so against. I remember people telling me like you can't change your body type, and you're just like a forever scrawny kind of guy. You can't gain weight. So I used to go by Willie when I was younger, and then I was like, man, I think when I was 27, I was like, I don't think you can be 30 and still go by Willie. It was just kind of, it's a kid's name. So, but when initially people were like, oh, no, it's not you. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna, like, it's funny how people are so against, can be so against changes. Like when I wanted to change the name of the game from Relativity, there was a lot of resistance as well. And I don't think anybody now will say that Relativity is a better name. I definitely made the right decision. And same thing, it's so weird when people call me Willie. It's just like, this doesn't feel like who I am. I don't know why this is not lighting up all the way. This is a bit frustrating for me, but I am gonna leave that So cool. I don't know if that helps with your situation. It is, everybody is going to be in a very different situation. Hello. Yeah, I mean, it's just, there's really not that many games that All right, see ya, Stone Compass. Yeah, I used to that used to bother me a lot, and now it's just like, well, you know, it's natural to draw comparisons between things, so. Anger is the enemy. Well, yeah, it just doesn't help. People compare stuff all the time. Like, it's so much better than people, when people were comparing it to Portal, you know? And it's like, you know, to me, it's like, you know, I made that video where I said, like, well, really where it becomes concerning is when people are saying, like, yeah, and I think once I kind of realized how to separate that feedback, like, where it is an issue is when, like, it becomes an issue if people see the game and they think it's just like an Antichamber clone or like a tribute to Antichamber, but then that what that's showing me is like, okay, you know, some of the like, because they're not seeing any gameplay, right? They're just sort of seeing these like panning shots of some of the levels. So that's where things need to, so that's more of like, okay, that's informing me with the communication. Because it was just like, I just realized, like, I made all these changes, and when you look at the two games side by side, they're very different, but they still have the edge detection and sort of this fairly like minimalist color palette. And, you know, when that kind of happened, it was like, well, it doesn't look like it's, if you have edges, you will always get that comparison. So, kind of like recognizing that and pushing the visuals farther. Because I know gameplay-wise and the structure, they're very different games. But visually there are some similarities, so but that, you know, it's like, okay, well, what some of that feedback is indicating is that we need to do more, we need to like showcase more gameplay. Yeah, it was just, I think it was just like you wanted to try to make something new, and it's just like all the feedback like anti-chamber, 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 anti-chamber. Yeah, best just to get started, jump into something. Yeah, and I also feel like some of the new visuals, the new changes have made a big difference. Like, I think where I started to realize a lot of that comparison was basically going to happen if you just have lines, and is not necessarily a bad thing, was I think like these screenshots. People were like, well, this still reminds me of Antichamber, and I was like, well, I was like, there's, yeah, the lack of textures, but I don't think it's gonna, you know, this is not gonna, like, if this still, you know, this still draws it, but I'm not gonna be able to. Yeah, it's like a little bit beyond what I can do. And also, I don't think it's a bad thing, you know, in the end, like, there's, I think there are a lot of games where the people say, well, the visuals, they look super cartoon. Like, you know, you see a lot of people make these hard games, but they have, like, a very cartoon kind of texture, and then I think the style, and they have a really hard time. They're like, well, it's really like Dark Souls, but it looks really... It looks kind of like a children's game, and I think they have, or like it looks like a mobile game. So I can't wait to get this part of the sound. Yeah, Minecraft. Minecraft Portal. Yeah. Don't give me any ideas. We've scope creeped. Isn't that just wait. Isn't that just Minecraft? So we need to fix that. That is not being in the correct spot, but okay, so we got a few things that I want to fix. And also, yeah, like I realized, you know, I've not shared a lot about the gameplay. You know, if you look at the teaser trailer, it's just these panning shots. No, I was just explaining it's not you know, it's the stuff I talked about last time. Right, it's more what it is I need to show more of the gameplay. I don't know about Minecraft. We get much more from. Well, I mean, really, what the game is it's Naissance and Starseed Pilgrim. Comparing games is not a good selling point. Actually, nowadays you just have to say Battle Royale. It's X plus Battle Royale. Yes. Well, yeah, I mean, I am no longer worried about it. Hello, Snurfy McSlappy Bush. I saw your first hi. Yeah, they're not bad. I mean, you know. All right, guys. I actually do have to get going. I have to go to a talk. So for those of you new, if you like the stream, you should follow the channel. Let's actually push some of these changes. Yeah, Sean, I hope, yeah, I don't have any, I don't know if my situation is remotely similar to what you're going through, but I hope me talking about what I do has helped. Yeah, keeping perspective. Otherwise, you know, like I find myself, I get into this, basically where every you're just constantly worried about the game and spending all this time on Steam Spy and yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think you gotta pick out what is what's productive and what isn't. And granted, it's not always it's not always easy to figure that out. Jessica Mack is streaming. We will be hosting her. As is Jonathan Blow. But I already hosted John yesterday. Not that he's lacking viewers. Oh yes, and we have a Discord, so that is a good place to kind of continue conversation. I post a lot more updates there. Alright, let's push these changes. Okay, so now what I want to do is go to required components. So every time I step out, I'm away from the computer, I try to make a build of the game. I use Perforce. Hey! PFizz, I'm actually just about to leave now. This is so we're gonna do this patch number 43409. Ooh, actually, we need to. Let's just make it expire. A little bit later. Alright, guys. I am gonna host Jessica Mack today. Epilepsy warning. Alright. I will see you all later. I'm off now.